Hey everybody, sorry for the delay right there. I had what I thought would be a quick call, and then it turned out to be this way longer. I was like, well, I'll make this call, and I called like 5 minutes before office hours, and then all of a sudden the call was just like never ending. And I was like, well, can you find this? We're trying to find confirmations of certain things, and they couldn't find it. So I was looking at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's 10 minutes into office hours. But sorry about that. So that's what, when you try to do something between, I did make my coffee during that time period. What's up, Ben? Good to see you. William thinks that's trash. Um, Awesome. Good to see you. Our friend from where? Yeah, from Bulgaria. That's so awesome. I'm looking through, haven't done the respondents midterm, but I've started on the take home midterm. I haven't done relatively easily. The respondents shouldn't be open right now, right? Hopefully the respondents should not be open right now. Makes me think I'm doing things wrong. I've done the first part, looking over everything. Question 2. Do people want to do question 2? What's up, Ben? So good to see you. I'm turning red right here. Turning red today. So let's do this. How is everyone doing? Let me get the assignment up and going right here. There will be some bonus on this assignment. Woo, trying to figure out everything. So much stuff. Let's hop over here to the assignment. What questions are there? So good to see everyone here in office hours. What questions are? Mubot, are you awake? You're talking to everybody, so you are. Do you know what problems will be counted as extra credit for the homework? Let's go take a look at that. We should probably send out an email. So we'll take a look at that. Due June 15th. I think it's... So the stuff over the check regression will be on there. Let's go take a look at that. Let's talk about what will be bonus. And let's send out a quick announcement and say, you know, like, these questions will be bonus. And we should take a look at the midterm also. I think you might be right, William. We'll allow for 110, so super important. I'm just going to keep hiccuping. We'll allow for 110 on this assignment. So let's do this. I'm just going to disappear here for a second. Let's do this. It's magic. I can just disappear whenever I want. That's how I do. So we did all of number 1 yesterday. Please download the latest version. The latest version has the corrections to the chunks. Question 2, we need to bring up the homework key thing for this. So we need to bring up the homework key. The modules. Here we go. Let's bring up the homework packet, not the homework key, but the homework packet. And let's display it. And this question says, here we are. You need to load up the EX3 abalone dataset, commands that'll be used in R. So let's take a look. EX3 abalone. Here it is right here, the EX3 abalone dataset. And make the relevant scatter plot. Fit the linear regression model. Here we go. Yeah, we can't. This is fine transformations, which we did not get to today, so this needs to be bonus. I really think it's just going to be question 1. There's some additional stuff right here. Will all the midterm questions be sent to you via Discord appear on the midterm? Yep, I'll be putting that in later tonight. So got a bit of work cut out for me too. But all the ones people are saying, hey, put this on there. I saw people. I saw the eyes. I don't remember who is Trebu, but put this on the test. And then yep. So good stuff right there on the Discord. So seeing what people said, I'll be putting those on, and they'll be in their own section doing their own thing. So they will be on there. Let's see here. So do the transformation, C, D, and E. So we got the full thing here. I think truthfully, we should just make it that question 1 is the main question. Question 1 really covers everything we've been covering lately. And then question 2 and beyond is kind of the bonus. So question 1 is super important for the test. It goes over all the concepts, all the step-by-steps. The Richards plots is hard to digest. Let's go. So the housing one, what is the next question on here? That's a transformation thing right here. So that's fitting a transformed model. And then question 4, this is, we didn't get to prediction confidence intervals. Question 2, that's yes. So basically we did everything yesterday. You know, you remember yesterday when I was saying we're halfway done? If you did the work yesterday, then you've done the work. So let's send out an announcement here to the class. So I'm going to send out an announcement and say homework 5 bonus opportunity. Homework 5 will be graded only on question 1. The remaining portion of the homework, 2 through 4, is for extra credit. You can now get up to a 110, this is a great opportunity for extra credit. Bonus questions answered will be +1 for each one completed correctly. And then I'll post the key here, but there we go. So the way this will be graded is I'll grade question 1 as the assignment, and then you can get 1 point for each additional question you do. So if you do the additional questions right here, you get 1. I know it's only 1 point, but great opportunity. You get 105 for just turning it in. If you complete 5 of the extra questions, you can get up to 110. So that's a really good opportunity right here. Let's take a look at the take home, and then let's put some take home bonus opportunity. So basically 2 through 4 are optional. Yep. Trying to allocate my time. Yep. So does that make sense, Michaela? You're exactly right. 2 through 4 are now optional. You could literally just not do 2 through 4. So yesterday's video, if you're watching right now, especially yesterday's video has all of question 1. So literally we have all the, we went step by step through question 1 in about a 90-minute video yesterday. So question 1 should be complete now. I really needed one more day to complete what we were doing right here. And so, but that's okay. That's okay. We just adjust. We listen and we adjust, and it would be wrong if I was like, well, you just got to do it. Nope. If I can't teach it in the time frame and teach it well and take all the questions, then we don't do it. And please remember, and please do this. If you ever think I'm going too fast, please just ask questions. Just be like, I don't understand this, Brian. I'm not getting the same calculation. What's going on right here? And we stop and we slow down. I mean, if we do something like 5 times, I might just be like, well, we'll come back to this. But usually we don't reach that point where we do it 5 times. Usually we're doing something and maybe I'm going a little bit fast. And then people say, I don't understand this. And then 3 people say, I don't understand it either. And that's the perfect scenario. And thank you for the people who speak up and say, you know, hey, I'm a little bit lost right now. Because if you teach these things for 5 or 6 years, it just becomes common sense to be like, oh, that's the R squared adjusted, throw out some points right there. That's the R squared of the model. That's the F statistic, which is the ratio. That is the degrees of freedom of the model with the parameter estimates and the residuals degrees of freedom. It becomes commonplace. That's the p-value of the model, which is not good. The model is not statistically significant. We're probably not viewing. That's probably a different model in the background. No, it is this model. Really? That model's not statistically significant? Well, yeah. No, that model is. Okay, that was a different model. That model did look, I mean, it's not super strong. R squared is only 17%, but this model in the background is statistically significant, as we see right here. And the visualization code that I ran to see it is just visualize your model. Makes life a little bit easier. Let's talk about the take-home real briefly here, see if there's anything major on the take-home. So we're going to send out an announcement about bonus on the take-home now. So let's go look at bonus on the take-home. And if you have questions, let me know. We could start doing some of the homework after this. How's everyone doing, though? William, Michaela, Trace, our friend from, I even forget, is it Bulgaria? Our friend from Bulgaria. Good to see you here. Always welcome, Neri. Ben, if you're still here, saying hey. I was like, 5-minute phone call. I got this. I'll call them up, get the information I need. 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, I'm like, okay. I was just literally saying, what is the still here? Awesome. How are things in Bulgaria? Just stressing over the midterm, just practice, study. I bet you with attending and getting things down, I bet you don't have reasons to stress. Because you're probably like me, where you're like, you might hear something, you're like, oh, I didn't remember that. But you remember a lot of things. Gonna be a long night of studying. It's a big week. And don't remember, Thursday, Friday, be here. So get some good sleep. Study, but make sure to get some good sleep. Like, I've been trying to get 8 hours of sleep every night. So like I went to bed around like 1:30 last night, like right after I got done everything, got up about 9:30, worked out, had a good breakfast, here teaching at 11 my time, noon your time. But just trying to get good sleep, good workout, drink lots of water, drink lots of coffee, healthy diet, healthy sleep habits. Something we should practice. It's tough. This is classic, life advice with Brian. Sleep well, eat well, and then you can study well. Your brain just feels better. You don't feel groggy. But let's get serious here and let's talk about that midterm, that take-home midterm. You start to realize this, like, as you get older, and you have periods in your life maybe where you're not eating as well. And really, it's so great to eat like Swiss cake rolls but then you feel it. Like you eat Swiss cake rolls for a week or two, like you buy a 12 pack of Swiss cake rolls, and you're just like, oh man, Swiss cake rolls are the best. And then you're eating them like 2 or 3 a day. And then, and then like after a week, you're like, just these things don't make me feel good. It's quite different here. Mediterranean food helps us. Oh, that sounds so good. Like, what's your favorite Mediterranean food? Are you talking about like some, I think of like Greek food, right? Am I thinking correctly when I think Greek and Mediterranean? So I'm thinking really like tomatoes and like I think tzatziki sauce. Like that's what I think about when I think about Greek food. Or like we have a really good place in Knoxville. We're gonna give shout outs to I'm gonna shout out this guy right here. Yeah, Yasan. Yasan's Falafel House. Amazing place in Knoxville. Let's give shout outs to Yasan right here. Is this fish? Yeah, Trace is mentioned. Trace literally went right to it. Uh, I think they've been voted like, I mean, just look at this right here. Yasan's Falafel House, absolutely amazing, right near downtown. Trace knows what's up right there with some Yasan's Falafel House, Yasin's maybe. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. We got Holy Land Market, great place too. I've never been to here. It's a vegan place. That'd be interesting to try. Why does Yasan have two? Wait, did he open a second place? What? Of course he did, right? There's the one that's downtown. I was wondering why that was so far off. Tomatoes, olive. I don't like olives for some reason, but on the take home, the world predicting is throwing me. Have we covered that like in number 5? I think we haven't. So let's figure out what's bonus on number 5 here. But check out if you are in Knoxville, go to check out Yasin's Falafel House. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but really absolutely, I mean, it's a 4.8 for a reason, and he's got a second one right here we saw. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how long the second one's been open, but that is it's so awesome. Man, you got euros and all this good stuff. So check out Yasin's Falafel House. Really great stuff in Knoxville. Shout outs. He doesn't need my shout. I think my sister knows him. He's super nice. He's like, I think he got voted like the nicest restaurant in Knoxville or maybe like Tennessee, but really awesome guy. Really great for like, just, I don't know. We just want more like, I don't know, positivity and everything. And good food. Good food, good positivity. That's what we say. Let's take a look at that take home. Let's do this. Trace got me hungry right there, thinking about some falafel and some, what is it called? Falafels or chickpea, right? I think we have gone over that stuff, William. Let's double check here. Let's go download the take home. Let's bring it up. This is an R data, which is in R environment. If yours doesn't load by default like mine does, mine loads in the R environment by default. Go here to the folder. Yours might have tried to open inside of R. Watch out if yours is opening inside of R. You don't want to open it inside of R. You want to open it inside of RStudio, and you can do that by clicking here to load in R data frame. Well, not an R data frame, an RDAT, which is an environment. An environment is just a brain. This is the brain of R. That's why it's up here in my brain. This is what it knows. It knows the function make exam. You do not open your make exam function by clicking it. That'll show you the function. I mean, you can look at the function if you want, but that's not what we're doing. We're going to run the function make.exam with our student ID, which mine's going to be today 5. My student ID is the number 5. I was the 5th student ever at UT. You might not have known that. But now I have made the exam. You'll notice the exam right here, exam 1, S21 for 5. So let's blank the screen right here real quick. And then let's see what we need to put for bonus. Good conversation right now to see what is bonus. We are opening the file. Why you didn't switch to 4.1? Oh, new RStudio? Maybe I should. A lot of times what we'll do, great question right there. A lot of times I'll use the current one, and between semesters I'll upgrade. So usually mid-semester we don't upgrade because we kind of get everyone on the same tracks, especially since we're teaching. We have everyone and that's why their first assignment literally checks their version of R, and I go get the latest version of R at the start of each semester. So at the start of each semester, we get the latest version of R. RStudio, good to have the latest version. You'll get new neat things like an R Markdown editor. This is one of the newer features right here is the R Markdown. There's always been R Markdown, but now you have the editor. Spell check came out about 2 or 3 years ago. maybe 2 years ago. I remember when all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, what? It's got spell check now. I think that was about a year. It was right before the pandemic, so early 2020. um, so yeah, I remember when spell check came out because I was like, what? The words are underlined now. I mean, it's the year 2020 and a spell check exists inside of a program. So I really like the Markdown editor. That's one of the newer features I like. But this is not going to make or break our experience in R. Does that make sense? Like, good question. So our experience in R won't be made or broken by the spell check editor and those things that are nice kind of add-on features. Those are like the sprinkles on top of the Sunday. Like, oh man, those are nice, but we're using R inside of RStudio. So let's take a look at the questions. Question 1, enter your student ID. Probably the most important question of all. If you enter your student ID in the wrong way, then you will not do well. Copy paste into the Google form the value. This should be super easy. I don't want to show you how to do it, but you should be able to find the value right there. What is the mean? I think I added in all this stuff. What is the mean of the column friendliness in data 1? Okay, that's totally good. Data 1 contains data on customers in 3 different stores, yada, yada, yada. This is an associate function. We're good on this. Question number 5, let us predict price. Fit a simple linear model, then do transformations. Guess what? Guess what we found? Who knows what we found? Who can tell me what we found right here? Number 5 is going to be what? What is number 5 going to be? Who knows? Because this is saying use transformations, which is not that bad to do. Number 5 will officially be what? Bonus. It's bonus right there. How about we put a little bit of... It should make it bold if I do this. I can't ever remember. It'll show me in the Markdown editor what I did to it. But which portion of the predict? Where'd my number... Oh, it's not there. Right here. I did make it bold. Good. You can easily make it bold by doing this, but you can use LaTeX editing and stuff. So predict isn't better. Let us predict price. That means it's going to be the Y variable. Let price. So that's what predict means. So you're not using the predict function. It's just like you could say what are the predictions from the model, and that would be the predict function. Predict, which we haven't really seen much, will take a model and make predictions with either a new data set or the current data set. So, yeah. When we say let's predict price, we're just saying let that be the Y variable. Like, this is the variable we want to understand, and then we're going to use it from promotion. So 5 is definitely bonus. Report the percent of variation in Y, explained by the variation in X. Use the transform oh, shoot. That's a bummer. Use a transform model. Well, bonus. Because they're using transform model. What can I do there? Create a subset. Good stuff. Spearman rank. Awesome. Good stuff right here. Perfectly fine. Yep. 6 has got to be extra credit too because it's a transform model. And you can't get the transform model unless you know how to make the transform model. It's not that bad to make the transform model. I'll show that here next. I'll show that as the next little thing we'll do right here, making a transform model. Find the variables that have the strongest correlation. Perfectly know how to do that. Fit a simple, make sure you see right here. Find the variables that have the strongest correlation with grade in dataset 2. Then fit a simple little regression predicting grade from that variable. Copy paste the slope. So we should know we've been covering that a lot this week. Like, what is the estimate of the slope? Like, literally, it says copy the slope, and that would be the estimate of the slope. So small tip right there. Fit a simple regression model predicting grade from Q1 in dataset 2. Copy paste the p-value for the test of the equal spread. And we just got to this today. Now, I will be covering this tomorrow. I do think this is fair game. What do people think about that? We showed the output for today. All you have to get is the p-value for the test of the equal spread. All you have to get is the p-value for the test of the equal spread, which we got to this today. It's basically we got to it, and then I want to elaborate tomorrow. Does everyone feel like this is pretty fair? So it says fit a simple model predicting this right here. What do people feel about this? We basically, this is right where we got to today. Like, this is like exactly what we were talking about. Thoughts on this one right here? I think it's fair game, but you can be like, heck no, Brian. Not fair game. Like, we were right. I mean, I'm not saying this has the answer on the... So, like, I think, especially since I'm pointing out some big hints right now. Well, here, wait. Here's the code on the screen. And here's what the output looks like. And it says copy into the p-value for the test of the equal spread. So, I mean, I think especially who feels like it's fair maybe with these hints right here, which is this is where we got to. Q1 is a variable in the data set. Yep. Q1 should exist inside the data frame. Yep. For the number 9, I believe. I mean, does this look like maybe you know how to maybe get to where the test for the equal spread is and the p-value for the test for the equal spread? Conceptually, I don't think we've gone over it enough conceptually. So I think I'm gonna remove these conceptual from the test. But I feel like you just be totally honest with me. Do you think this is fair or not fair? I mean, I'm dropping some major hints right now with this on the screen for this, like right here. What do you think? Because William says he knows the concepts. One of the I need a vote. You're gonna vote and decide for the class right now. Okay, we're putting right here vote. Here's the thing, and let me just explain. Like theoretically, if you extra credit will kind of be down weighted. So, well, like you can't get like 150 on this, obviously. I'll probably allow for like up to 105 or so. So extra credit questions will be down weighted. And so I can't confirm or deny, but I can say this output does have the answer. And we're looking for the p-value for the test of the equal spread. I can't confirm or deny the answer because I can't be like, yes, that's what the answer is. But I can say you run check regression on your model and you look at the output for the tests and you can see what, you know, the p-value for the test for equal spread is. So you can, you know, go to the output and you have to make your model and they have to run check regression on it. And then the check regression tells you the p-values for the tests. Theoretically, I don't think we covered enough of this theoretically today. We did get to this point right here. I don't know. I need a vote from the audience right now. Type EC in the chat or regular in the chat. Now remember, the more regular questions we have, the more it spaces out the points on the regular. EC will be up to like 5 points bonus on the take home, so you could get like each EC will be worth a certain amount. And so you can be like, this should be in the EC pile or it should be in the regular. I've dropped some major hints on this one. I think this shouldn't be so bad. It's kind of a nice one in either pile right now. But type regular EC, and we're going to go with the vote from the chat. If you're here in office hours, you're the ones deciding this. I think it's fair either way. I'm sitting on the fence right now, so you tell me which way to go. Regular Trace says, I think now that you've shown us, I think it should be regular. Yeah, exactly. So this is huge hints. And always be checking out these office hours. Remember, I do section off because we're just talking about the take home right now. We're giving big advice. Because, I mean, I'm kind of just saying, like, you know, like, if you want to run the check regression, you run it by doing check regression or model. Point one. Whoa. Our Bulgarian friends knows how to do it. Exactly. Let me just point out what they're showing. Great job on your knowledge on this. Excellent work. When you do conditions, your starting assumption is that they're good. And then, so the null hypothesis for any condition is good. And the alternative hypothesis for any condition is bad. So they know their stuff right here. It's a common confusion when people say, oh, the p-value is high, that's bad. P-value being high or bad doesn't mean good or bad. In this instance, like I know I've written good or bad right here, but when you do assumptions for the model, you assume that things are good till you have evidence that they are bad. So our model has the biggest problem where here. So this is a little bit teaching the concept, which we'll do more tomorrow, but I'm going to be looking at the test tonight, making sure there's not much on like these concepts I don't want to put on the test right now. If you look at this output right here, where's the biggest problem with the model? Where's the biggest problem with the model? So knowing that all assumptions are assumed to be good till we have evidence that they are bad, i.e. low p-value, where's the problem with this model? This model is going to have a problem where? This is what I wanted about 10 extra minutes to cover today. This model right here has a problem where? Where do you think the problems are with this model? No, it won't be. We won't be interpreting it. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're doing here. Because we look at the biggest problem with this model would be for the where. Because it kind of tells you normality of residuals, exactly. The normality of the residuals. And why do you think we have a problem with the normality of the residuals? Like, if you look over here at this, or here technically, or here, this is really where we want to look. Like, this is the normality of the residuals. You can tell the residuals by looking at the model itself. Like, these are the residuals for these points. Hence, these are the residuals for those points right there. And they also show up right here and right here speaking. But extreme outliers, yeah. That's exactly it. The extreme outliers is probably what is causing the issues with the normality of the residuals. And we kind of ended off on this one today right here. Or yeah, no, we did get to this one. If you look at this, probably the only condition that's good here is the linearity of the model. Like the line does a good job, but even then it comes back saying the line does not do a good job. We fail linearity, but probably the most egregious issues are going to be the equal spread of the model. The model has a lot of heteroscedasticity, and then the model has an extreme deviation from normality of residuals. We're going to go into more detail on this. This will be on the final. This model right here fails all the conditions, and then we talk about fixing it. If I just had one more day, we could have done this completely, but we're going to go back over this a little bit tomorrow, but please, killing me, man. Oh my gosh. Anyways, but all this good stuff right here. Let's continue on. Let's take a look at the last few bits of output. Fit a simple regression predicting copy paste the equal spread. Good on that. Find the typical miss your model makes. Now look at this, very important right here. Previous model from number 8. I can't highlight that enough. Previous model from number 8. I can't highlight that enough. Copy paste into the Google form a 92% prediction interval. I think this one we have not covered. Create a 95% conf interval for the slope. Oh, we got that. Yes, so we cannot do this one. So this is also a bonus. So it looks like there are 3 bonus questions. The 3 bonus questions I think should be worth 2 points each, allowing for 106. Create a 95% conf interval for the slope of the previous model. We got that. Oh, wait. Copy paste the uncertainty of the slope. Yeah, we got that. Okay. So we got the uncertainty of the slope. We've got the confidence interval for the slope. Wouldn't the miss be bonus as well? Which one? The question number... Which one, Trace, were you looking at? The typical miss? Oh, no, we got the typical miss. Just think the typical miss the model makes. So, like, I mean, you can maybe put some guesses in the chat. I cannot confirm or deny anything. And remember, you can only... You don't want to say, like, I think 10? But we can do number 10. Because number 10 is based on your model from number 8, which we have created. Make sure you're using number 8 model, not number 9. But the typical miss should be something when you hear typical miss the model makes. You should be like, oh, we're talking about this. I don't want to say what it is. Maybe you can put it in the chat and I can be like, and then I don't know. We got a lot of good hints right now. But you want to find the typical miss your model makes and put that in. So does that make sense, Trace? Maybe. It's definitely something we've covered. I'm just calling it the typical miss. So does that all make sense right here? The typical miss the model makes when predicting whatever the y variable is. Like on average, we miss our prediction of the y variable by this amount, typically speaking. On average, we miss, sort of, I mean, I'm not saying anything, but this is kind of the typical miss our model makes when making predictions is, I don't know, something like that right there. Kind of an uncertainty in the variation of how much we miss by, which is the residuals, and like an uncertainty in the residual variation. So I think we should be pretty good. This makes 5, 6, 11 bonus. They'll be each worth 3 points apiece. Or 2 points apiece, sorry. 2 points. 5, 6, and 11 are now bonus. I know, right, Trace? It should make life easier, I'm hoping. And that's why, I think office hours are a great chance to help out and see where everyone's at and to put out, so let me go to announcements. And let's say take home bonus opportunity number 5, I can't think, comma number 6, 11, all bonus. They are each worth 2 points and you don't lose points for missing them. This means you can get up to a 106 on the take home. That's a great opportunity right there. Great opportunity. So 5, 6, and 11 are bonus. They were 2 points each. You don't miss anything for missing them. This means you can get up to 106 on the take home. Pretty clear right there. Let's go ahead and send that out. So some pretty big hints for today, especially with the video. I want to make sure people have, you can be really close to the answer and not see it sometimes. And once again, we said, like, I'm here to train you and to get you kind of like, okay, I know what's going on. Okay, let me ask this question because I'm right there and I see it. Pop back to here. Okay. That's good for me too. Good. Everything figured out right there. Everyone's on track. Got all the bonus opportunities set in place. Everything is graded. People start turning in the assignments. Maybe a bunch of people turned in the assignment right now. What questions are there? Has anyone else? One person's turned in their assignment. One persona. Gotta call them back and see. Are we uploading the RMD or a knitted document for the take-home? You can upload just your file itself. Don't worry about knitting it. Don't worry about knitting it. No need to knit. Can you go over number 3? Let me look at it. I can talk about it briefly, but I don't know if I can go over it. I can't do it. What is the mean of the column of a certain thing? So what do you think? I thought I saw that mine was different from yours. Yep, yours will be different. Everyone's take-home is different. That's why, remember, don't, like, no, you can ask me about these things. Just show me. William, that's trash right there. I'd hate for someone to come in and think, like, as I said that to William, they're like, oh, he's so mean to people. He's so mean. Yeah, so everyone's will be different. Yours that you generate, which I've had people in the past cheat, and then I see people have same answers, and you're like, hey, there's an issue with your answer that it matches someone else's based on their code. And someone's like, and they're like, I've had people be like, how did you know I talked to this person? I'll be like, cause code kind of gives things away. So you want to be careful. Don't share anything with anybody. Like, don't send people your file. And you're not allowed to talk about the midterm with other people. Like, you're not allowed to say, hey, how'd you do number 3? Or on homework, you're allowed to say, like, hey, how'd you do number 3? No, they can't send you their file and be like, here, just take a look. But they can send you their, like, they can talk you through it. They can be like, well, we're trying to find the mean of this data set, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to pull up the data frame. I'm going to do this. Can you go over number 2 on the assignment file? Yeah, let's take a look at that. Here we go. Remember, please remember, I did update this file right here. Very important. This is version 2 on it. So make sure you're using version 2 of this file, or else yours might not knit. There's a way to fix it. If yours isn't knitting, these just didn't have Q2 on it. If yours is not knitting, please tell us. Let's go take a look at number 2. Let's put a cut in the video so we can know where we're at. Where's that EX3 abalone data? Abalone is an interesting creature. Let's go take a look at the abalone here first. Abalone. Wikipedia. Oh, man. Let's hop over. Let's take a look at an abalone. This is a living abalone showing its tentacles. This is the thing that we're eating right here, apparently. It's a mutin fish, a mutin shells, ear shells, sea ears. Pretty interesting. These are the things, and we collected a whole bunch of data. Such an amazing kind of iridescent. Is that iridescent called? I don't know. Pretty cool. What? Abalone with a living sponge on its shell. Well, that's cool. The sea is so weird. Abalone hatchery. Cool. Well, that's what we're talking about. Soy sauce. Soy sauce. In Japan, live and raw abalones are used in owabi sushi or served steamed, salted, boiled, chopped, or simmered in soy sauce. Salted, fermented abalone entrails. Cool. Are the main component of tutsusori, a local dish in Honshu. I need to watch more only in Japan. I want to go to Japan. So now that we know what the abalone is, let's go talk about the data right here. So we have data on the abalone data set. There's the Wikipedia on it. Let us predict the meat weight of an abalone based on the diameter of its shell. So if you think we want to know how much meat we're going to get from these abalone, like that's the point. Let's try to understand how much meat we'll get from this. And then we'll predict the diameter. I want to go to Japan. I got invited to China. I was in a mentor program type thing where I was you know, the guy knew way more than I knew on so much stuff. The gentleman, I should say, not the guy. But really such an amazing, I'm trying to remember his name. I just can't think of it at the time being right now. Sure, that code does the same thing. But it was an honor to work with him. I worked with him 3-4 years ago now. He was here in America, and he invited me to China, and I just haven't taken him up on that offer. So it'd be super cool to go over to China, but I've always just maybe been more fascinated by Japan, probably because of Nintendo. So I'm a child of the 80s, and Nintendo is my childhood. And so if I got to go to the Nintendo headquarters in Japan, oh my gosh. And if, why can't, Shiratoga? I'm trying to think of his name. Why can I not think of the guy who made Mario? I think it starts with an S. Why am I forgetting Mario's father's name? So sad. But, Miyamoto? No. I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Japan. Also, South Korea, Thailand, amazing. Maybe people have traveled there, but those would be amazing places to go. Make the relevant scatter plot using all this stuff right here. Cool. You could just use visualize model. I think it down here, it says, where's the fit the linear regression and do this. The scatter plot, I mean, I would accept if you made it without doing it this way. Now, when you make a scatter plot, you can go here to plot, and you can put in the same stuff you do for the LM. That's why, well, you don't want to put in the LM. You can do plot y tilde x comma data equals, and you should be seeing something right here. What are you noticing immediately about this? What are some things? And plot has additional functions like CEX. CEX is going to be point size, so we can make the point smaller, as you see right there. So there's the CEX controls point size, character expansion is what it's called. Yeah. Great job, Trace, right there. PCH is point style. I wish it autocomplete on those. Apparently it doesn't. Maybe they're because they're 3 letters and we've already spelled them. It won't autocomplete. Linear regression would not be good to use. Exactly. Curvature, heteroscedastic, all these things. This is point style, so it changes the way the points look. Might be more apparent if we increase the point size. You're seeing it's like a triangle in a box. Cool. There's a, I don't know. There's stars. So different, oh my gosh, I just expanded the full window. You're just doing different point styles right here. So you can go from circles to triangles to squares to many different things. There's a full list of what each character is. And a lot of people have like their favorites that they've memorized. So we might go with something like this right here to do circles like this. All these right here, exponential relationship, exactly. So really, linear regression right here is not going to be appropriate. We can do an additional thing right here. If I go to AB line M and col equals red, or we could do, why is this jumping on my head right here? FF88, we got to do hashtag FF88200. Yep. Who knows what color this is if I did it correctly in my head? Who knows what hexadecimal color there is? Outliers doesn't seem to be the biggest issue. Great question right there, Michaela. There's a little bit of light outliers in the relationship, but the majority of the problem is going to be the heteroscedasticity seen by here by the tightness of the model, the expansion of the model, and the nonlinear relationship. And the hexadecimal color coding I did, I believe, is for UT orange, if I remembered it correctly in my head. This is just the amount of red we're putting in, the amount of green, and the amount of blue. No blue, just some red and some green to make UT orange. So you can make it all red by doing this, and you get a red line. You could make it, you don't need no hex all green by doing this. There's a green line. And this is just hexadecimal, which is 16 instead of 10 numbers. Do you use generalized additive regression in your course? We should. That's a little bit more advanced, but generalized additive regression would be a good thing. You, like I keep saying, you know your stuff. We have a ton of topics, and there's always need for more topics. So we don't. So we could just, it'd be easy. We could just say orange. We won't get UT orange then. We'll just get a generic orange. So one thing you'll notice right here, there's the scatter plot with the options. One thing you'll notice right here is we fit the model. So we kind of went above and beyond. So here's where we fit the model. All this work can be done for us right here with the visualize model. So why do all this work when we can just hit this right here and you can see it? We haven't gotten into what the prediction and confidence intervals are, but you can see major problems with this model right here. Like this is just not good. This is like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What is going on right here with the line? The line should be, the residuals should have a mean of what for the line? So when you think about your equations, the residuals should have a mean of what for the line? So when you think about your conditions, the residuals should have a what mean for the line? Because if I go here to check regression, which I don't think is part of this problem right now, but I'll check the regression, you'll really see it. You can see where the residuals are at, and they're not at this at all. The residuals should have a mean of 0. Yeah, and you don't see that right here. Here's the mean of 0, and you can see our plot right here, the original plot that's bent like this. If you make the line flat, you can generally see what a residual plot looks like. It's not so much of an outlier issue here. It's more of the heteroscedastic. Looks like a Nike swoosh or something like that. Probably the biggest issue is going to be the linearity of the model. Then you got major heteroscedastic issues, and then you've got an issue of the non-normality of the residuals. A little bit too much on the high side right here. So we're seeing major issues. So we don't need the check regression right here. What we need is the find transformations function. Not that. Find transformations. Once again, it'll autocomplete and fix anything for you. And what do you think find transformations does? Any wacky guesses in the chat of what find transformations does for you? Which this is really interesting. And for our friend, this is such an amazing code right here. I'll explain more in... It could take the log. It can find log. And you would think log would be the best. We're kind of doing an inverse is the best. I could restrict it. And it will report everything within the highest R squared of 2 right here. So just to show what the find transformation function looks like really quickly right here, here I'm going to go to a new tab, and I'm going to grab the find transformations function so you can actually see it a little more in depth on this. And it takes a vector of transformations and runs through here and stores the R squared. I hate it when it does that. There we go. So the find transformations function, which will act like we're storing it, which we go more into how to make functions in 474. But it's going to go through here and do permutations of transformations and test out a vector. By default, a vector going from -3 to 3. And you'd say, well, where's the log? It's got an if in here. If the log is equal to, here it is right here. If the power of the log is equal to 0, it'll do the log. So when it does 0, it actually does log 10. So we can do the log. Log is one of the possible powers of the transformations. We could change the function. Normalize the distribution allows us to use linear models. That's exactly it. We're trying to fix the model right here, and really, like, beyond looking at it, you can see how much better it looks with the highest R squared. The linearity has been massively achieved. What do you think is now the issue? Part of this question asks if one of our transformations is the log. How do we know that? Yep. I'll show you how to know if log's in there. I'll show you when log is in there. If the log transformations are in here, what is the sequence from? Here, I'll just grab this. Oh, it's powers. Cool. You don't need to do this portion, but you'll get to see it now. Okay. Now let me run it. And now I want you to look at the output. Oh, really? It's just not showing up because it's not that good of a transformation. Okay. Now I want you to tell me, looking at this output, is the log transformation in here? So I want you to look at this output. Is the log transformation one of the options in the output? Is the log transformation one of the options in the output? Yes or no? With this output down here. So I've added, you don't need to do the arguments I'm doing. I'm just doing this to make a point. Is the log option one of the models that we are considering with the possible transformations when I ran it this way? I changed the sequence of powers. Yep. So the log is one of the options, and you see it right there. And once again, it does this code-wise when it runs into, it's using 0 on the sequence. You don't need to understand all this code right here, but if you look at it, it says if the power of j is equal to 0, like a logical check on that, then when it runs the transformation, it'll store the log and use that, and that's when you're seeing this right here, when it goes through the sequence of values from -1 to 1, and mine went by 0.5. So when it reaches 0, you would never raise anything to the 0 because it would turn everything into 1, unless it's a 0. 0 to the 0 might be 1. What is 0 to the 0? Yeah, it's 1. Everything 0 to the raised to 0 is 1. Even 0 to the 0. That was the only one I was a little bit, I don't know, because I don't do that kind of math. But with the find transformation by default, the question then becomes, is the log part of our possibilities? So here's the previous one up here. Log was a possibility. Is log one of your possible models, yes or no? So was the log transformation one of the models you're considering right here? When you look at your highest R-squared, which is this one, which yields an R-squared of 0.957, and that's compared to our original R-squared of 77% of the variation explained, but we did have a problem with the linearity of the model. The best model right here does much better and fixes the linearity, and you are correct, it's not part of that. So you can see right here we have a fix of the linearity. What problems do you see with our best model? What problems seem to maybe exist? Yeah, there's less points, so I am a little bit worried about this. Less points should indicate less scatter. So I'm, like that's pretty tight in here, and this looks to be about the same tightness, but there's fewer points, and fewer points should indicate fewer scatter. That's a kind of trickier advanced thing. So you might be like, oh, it's about the same scatter, but with way fewer points, we should see less scatter. More points should indicate, yeah. There's some spread. There's some maybe outlier, like light outlier. Linearity looks to be mostly fixed. But also look at this. We're going from 77. Imagine this. I'll drive you 77% of the way to New York, or your friend will drive you 96% of the way to New York. Which of these sounds worlds better? I'll drive you 77% of the way to New York, like get you 77% of the variation explained, which looks like this, or I'll get you 96% of the variation explained, which looks like this right here. This is 96% of the variation explained by a linear model going through this data set after transforming the variables, or you could have 77% explained where the line really, as we saw previously, really wasn't fitting through the data that well. So the line was not. Highest order is great, but however, it's overfit. It could be overfit, and that goes into predictive modeling. Is it overfit? Really great question right there. And I could do some holdout samples to see if it's overfit. That is such a great question. Is it overfit? And truthfully, searching through a vector of transformations could go towards overfitting. Yeah. That's a really good question right there. Is it overfit? We would definitely need a test data set to see if we have, because now you're getting into the bias variance trade-off. Have we cut down on so much bias that we've overfit to our sample data? You're hitting, your topics. Overfit is a huge problem. Have we overfit this? Maybe, but so here's the problem. Linear model is not a good idea right here. Transforming is going to allow us to achieve, because we're just, the conditions here are, this is horrible. You don't want to use this. This is really bad. Let's look at the transform model, which could be overfit. That is a problem that we're maybe venturing into in this arena right now. We're going to make our transformed y variable. It says y needs to be raised as power, and such good insight right there. Like, these are all topics we cover, like the idea of overfitting right here. Like, we won't cover it right now, but that is a pretty important thing. We're predicting the meat weight, and we're going to raise that. I think our friend is like, you said you do medical stuff, but you know your stats. Like, you know a lot of topics that connect in on this stuff. Like, how many stats courses have you taken? Because you really know your stuff. Maybe you teach, and you're like, I'm gonna come in here and see if I'm gonna test Brian out, see if he knows his stuff, see if he knows about overfitting. Because overfitting is a big. If you overfit your model's not good. William knows what overfit models are. A model that is overfit is trash. I'm doctor. Yeah. Oh, wait. So you are a doctor. You are like, you are a well, yeah. And so if you're reading research, you know if somebody has like overfitting is basically when you make it so that your data, your model. William's talking about my models right there. So you're actually a medical doctor. That is awesome right there. And I'm so honored that you know statistics and you're utilizing it and you understand the importance of not going too far. And you have to watch as your R squared gets higher and higher. You're pulling more info out of your data in YouTube Stat Learner. Well, you're always welcome here, and your insight is so very important. Especially, let me ask you this: what are the three most? And you can maybe do just one or two if that comes to your mind. What are the three most important statistical things you use? Like when it comes to stats within medical industry, what are the three most important statistical concepts you use? Would it be like linear? Whatever comes to your mind. I don't want to give you any sort of like direction in this answer, but statistics, How do you use them? What's most important to you? Like overfitting is a super important concept. Like have we taken too much information out of our data set that our model would not work on a new data set? It's the idea of overfitting right there. Super important. We're going to make a linear model right here with the transform variables, even though it might be overfit. It is a major concern. Can't downplay that. Have we extracted too much information? Hazards, proportions, regression. Oh, because you're maybe looking at like if people live or die, which I haven't done a lot of that. I do not know hazards, proportion, regression. I'm gonna look that up afterwards. That is something you've hit upon something I know nothing about. It sounds like, is it going to be a logistic regression right there to predict probability of death or stuff like that? Is that hazards, proportion, regressions? Sounds to me like, and if you're predicting health outcomes, like whether or not someone lives or dies, sounds like to me like you're doing logistic, correct? Am I on the right track that this is all logistic regression ideas, like probability of a certain outcome? And so maybe making predictions for groups of individuals. So you're making predictions from logistic regressions for, on average, we should see this outcome given these sorts of things. And you don't want to overfit your model then either. But it sounds like logistic regression, making predictive models in logistic regression. That would be my guess of what that entails. It's what it sounds like to me. We've got our transformed model. I should have probably called this transformed. Our summary of the model. That's what it sounds like to me. But I could be very wrong because I do not know that topic. Here's our summary of the model. And whoop, take a look at this model. There's some difference, but in the general idea, it's common. Yeah, because you're dealing with a categorical Y, so hence logistic. And you can really see our model's done a lot better. We've got just these extreme values right here, and this is what they were talking about with especially the exponential. We're pulling in these extreme values, but we still have some oddness in this data. I mean, it's not perfect, but down here on the lower side, and we are seeing that heteroscedasticity a little bit more commonly right here. And when you look at our conditions right now, the check regression is going to show, I don't even know what that is. The check regression is going to show, oh, I did store it into that too. I overwrote my model. Oh, come on. There we go. The check regression, ooh. What looks really bad to you right here? I mean, there's a few. I mean, we got some issues on conditions right here. And it's apparent right here. I mean, you can see the heteroscedastic. But over here, yeah, the spread, that heteroscedasticity is not good. And the not normal, yeah, that's the other thing. Now the line, this is cutting through the center of it. This is the model. So our line is cutting through the center of the data. We fixed linearity, but curvature in the QQ plot, yep. Equal spread and the outliers, yeah. Trace, everybody, 20 points. Yeah, this is exactly what you should be noticing right here. Don't worry about the histogram. I've actually sometimes deleted this from the output. It's not super important. But the non-normality of the residuals, definitely you've got this extremes right here, extremes on the lows and the highs, which are showing up right here. Like if you trace this over, that's this point right here. If you trace this over, that's that point right there. If you trace this over, that's that point. So you can literally see these extreme points. You can't really see it. The bin's just so small, it's hard to see it. There's an extreme point up here at around 16. That's why the graphic goes out that far. Yeah, the histogram is trash. Yeah, it's super trash. Small bins right there. Really hard to tell if the normal curve is a good fit or bad fit. And the normal curve is actually a bad fit because that red line right there is the normal curve. And we're seeing the QQ plot have strong deviations on the high side, hence by these high residuals here, and strong deviations on the low side, hence by this group of low residuals right here. So overall, we're seeing things that are much outside of the bounds of normality for what we would expect. So yeah, this is bad. I think, yeah, these are these standardized residuals, visors. Yeah, these are, yeah. We're seeing some ridiculous residuals, like -10 z-score. So that's insanity. I don't know. I don't think these are standardized. So it just happens that the numbers are very close to a standardized metric. But yeah, I think that mostly does it. Let's see what else is on this question. Just talking about question 2 right here. Talking about those plots and everything, making sense of them. The residuals plot, check the transform model. What assumptions, if any, are satisfied? What did you think the only assumption was that is satisfied right here? And if you look, the p-values for all of them are bad. But if we are to say an assumption was satisfied right here, which I pretty much... Could you go over party? You bet. We'll do that next right here. What what assumption, if any, might be satisfied right here? Like, as William was pointing out, this is trash right here. That's trash. The equal spread is trash. Now, we do fail it, but sometimes these tests are a little bit sensitive. I'm sure our friend knows about power, and we have a sample size of 1,528. So you do have a large amount of statistical power right here, which is the ability to reject the false null. And since all models are wrong, we are rejecting the linearity right here. But that's of the least of my concerns. Once again, looking at the linearity of the plot, the line seems to be good. None of them truly pass, but I'm least concerned about linearity. That's why sometimes we do an investigation to look at it afterwards, because with a large enough sample size, and you'll see it down here, this is what we'll be covering more. We'll mention it tomorrow. I'm not going to really put it on the test. But if we have a large sample size, then we run into strong statistical power. And with high statistical power, we're able to reject the null a little bit too often. As in, we'll find issues with pretty much any model because no model is going to be correct because we're trying to describe the world with math. I mean, what a weird idea. So we have to be like, okay, this model's wrong, but how wrong is it? Well, it's super wrong on the normality of residuals. We failed the normality of residuals, and yeah, that's ridiculous. We failed the equal spread, and yeah, that's really bad too. But the linearity, which we did fail, we do fail the linearity of the x variable, which is the linearity of the model. I'm least of my concerns because that line looks to cut through the center of the data, and that's what we're talking about. Does this line go through the center of the data? And sure, that's all right. So if one passes, it would be the linearity of the model. The other ones, I think, are trash, as William would say. Part E, the residual plot might be hard to digest. Run the following command below. Based on your variable assumptions, address if we have fixed the regression and whether the violations still exist. So let's take a look right here. Have we fixed it? Let's go to 2E, and there's the code right here. Just kind of making it nice and easier to look at. What is super apparent right here? Should be pretty apparent. And see, I can do this right here. I'll add the model. The model at this point there's your model. So then you have to ask this. So the model, a little tiny issue right there. Heteroscedastic, exactly. So you can see right here, and this is the model because the line is the model. When you make a residual plot, remember, so let me plot the other one next to it so you can see them both at the same time. What you're doing right here, I've got to save as M anyways, is the line, the red line right here, and you see the little dip right here. I said the issues had been fixed. Well, this is not the naive model, though. When you make a residual plot, what do? I need to reappear. You take your line, and to make it a residual plot, which kind of looks like the naive, to make a residual plot, you take your line and do what to it? Now, this is not the naive model, even though it's this. This is our linear model. We've just taken it, that red line. You see that dot up here, which I don't know if we have enough. It might be that dot right there. It looks like. Should that be it? I don't think we're going far enough out on the x-axis to see it. X-axis, let's go to 20. Yeah, there we go. Are we going far enough out on the y-limbs? I need to go further out on y-limbs now. There we go. Yeah, now you can see that point right there. Do you see... Here, I'm going to point to it with the mouse. Do you see this point right here? This point right here is that point right there. So you see this point right here? It's this point right here. So you can tell where things are at. No, actually, this point right here, that point is... I was wrong. It's this point. Is it? Wait, I have to go up to 40 to see that. Oh, wow. So you got to go all the way up to 40. It should be right there about at 40. Not that far. And then we might not have enough width on this. Let's see if that's enough width. So there's a 38. So he's starting to look like our other plot now. Is that really at 35 right there? That should be that point right there. The way it's plotting it. And then let's run this code again right here. No way is that further up. Fitted model right there, going to 40. Let's go out on the x-axis. Y limits right there. Let's go out on the x-axis to 100. And so it's only predicting. Am I using the wrong model right here? Fitted model, residuals, plot. And we see the 1 point there at the end, 3 points. There's the 3 points, there's the 1 point, there's 1 point. I think it's just the way we're doing, because that's the fitted model and the residuals, and these are the predictions. So we need actually to do the actual values. So I'm thinking through this as we're talking about it right here. So this is your y variable, this is your x. So what I need to do, what I'm looking at slightly differently here, is the ex3 abalone, and I need to go to the values of the, we're predicting the meat weight. What have I done? Could you go over the rest of part C after? How would you write the regression equation and then the others? Yeah, we'll talk about C here in a second. You got it. 2 seconds right here. My brain broke. Not enough coffee. Oh, it's a transformed, stupid transformed variable. 2 seconds right here. I just want to make this, that's the X transformed. So, and that's the Y transformed. Okay, that's why. So the X variable is diameter. We've transformed X using the following. And there's that. And once again, it's not looking like it. The residuals look about right. Did I do the wrong one? Oh my gosh. X is raised to this. I just can't grab anything right today. There we go. Now it's looking more like it. There we go. Yep. Cool. Okay, 2 seconds. I've almost got this the way I want it. Okay, good. Literally what I was going for right here. And then let's bring this into 25 and negative 25. And then we'll go over the other question here. I'm literally making this plot look exactly like the other plot. And I'll show you why here in a second. Where's the 3 points? There's the 3 points. 1, 2 right there. Oh, you see there's a point up here we can't see. That's interesting. It's out of the plot. Okay. Let's take a look at this right here. It took a while to get it, but we can see it now. Your plot will look a little bit different. Your plot is just a zoom in on a specific area. So I'm going to show you your plot versus the one I spent a good bit of time creating right here. So here is your plot, and then I'm going to show you my plot, and I'm going to show you these differences I'm highlighting between them. Here's your plot, which is a zoom in of the area at the start of this. It's a zoom in of this. But what is this plot you're getting? When you're getting a residual plot is just taking your line and doing what to it? And then we'll do Michaela's question next right here. When you do a residual plot, it's just taking your line and doing what to it? It took me a while to get to this, but we got it. When you do a residual plot, it's just taking your line and doing what to it? Like, what is the whole point of a residual plot? It's just taking your line and doing what to it? A residual plot is just taking your line and doing what to it? So when you get, here's your line. Yep, you take this line and you make it flat. Do you see this right here, Michaela, where you got these points like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points going underneath the line? You got this dot over it. That is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, those 5 points, and you got this dot way above it. Do you see these 3 points right here that are just like a line of 3 points? Those 3 points right here are these lines of 3 points right at like 110 or so. And we go back to this plot, and yeah, they're about at 110. You see a point down here at about 130 or so, and you go over here to about 130, and you see that point right here. So that point exists. Your first big outlier is at 40, and it's above the line. Well, you go over here, and at 40, there's that big outlier. There's another big outlier further over, these 1, 2, 3 points right here. You go back to this plot, and you see 1, 2, 3 points. Does that make sense to everybody what we're seeing? And then all we're doing is zooming in on this region right here, which, do you know what would be amazing? Let me try one last thing here. This will be amazing. Let me do library. I should have tried this from the start. ggplot. And let me store the plot into X. And if this works, my mind will be blown. GG Plotly. We got to go Plotly. Oh, I don't know how to Plotly? This is the last thing, and then Michaela's question. Oh, no, that's not spelled correctly. Okay. I've reset my thing, so I need to re-download these. If this works, this will be amazing. So now GG Plotly. Does it work? Come on, package. Do what you do. It should, hopefully it'll make it an interactive graphic. It looks like it's having a hard time doing it. Might be all the different dots on there. But it looks like it said no. Looks like it said, nope, you're not getting this thing. We'll see if it appears. Let's go take a look at Michaela's question right here. We'll see if that ever appears. And if it does, we can actually zoom in on it. Michaela's question was, can you go over part C? Choose the transformation with the highest R squared, find this transform model, and run the summary. Write out the regression equation. And I think they're asking about writing the regression equation. So let's take a look at that. So we need to run a summary on our transformed model. We made the transformed model earlier. Once again, we looked at the find transformation output. See if the model ever appears over there. And here is our equation. Remember, we are predicting the meat weight using a transformed version. And this was found via the find transformations function right here on our original model, which I think I've destroyed. So be very careful. You want to go to the find transformations and find the best transformations, which here's what we should raise x to, here's what we should raise y to. And then we create our transformed model right here by transforming the variables and then storing the transformed model. Now, when we run the summary, we can get the coefficients for the transformed model. And what's really great about the Markdown editor is we can add in the equation and see how things should look. Now, remember, we are predicting the y variable, but we have a transformed value. So let's go down all the way here and input some transformed values. So we're going to go to Insert, and we're going to go to Display Mathematics, and we are predicting the meat weight. But the problem is our meat weight has been raised to, and it's been raised to, I believe, let's check it out. The y variable has been raised to negative 0.75, and it's not putting that inside of it. You have to do this if you want to. Oh, well, that's not going to do it. Negative 0.75, and you have to do a bracket. That should do it. So these are brackets right here on this to make it look this way. You can also do this in Microsoft Word. And so now we have the intercept. The intercept's going to be right here. We just drop the intercept in. Cool intercept. And then we're going to go plus for the coefficient of the x variable. And now we're going to take the x variable name, which is diameter. And we're going to raise diameter also to the coefficient of the power. It's getting mad at me right there, but that's fine. I'm going to go back here and grab the x power. And we're going to put it right here, and then we're going to close the bracket, and it'll be all happy again. Is that making sense right there, Michaela? What I've done by taking from my output the intercept right here, which is the value of the intercept, and also the diameter, and all of these have been raised to a specific power right here. If you ever want to untransform this, we could untransform for the y variable to turn it into more of a predictive model. But notice how we have B0, B0, B1, B1, and then we're using the name of the x variable. I called it xtrans, but to transformed x, but all that good stuff. So is that yep, that's the regression equation. We're just taking B0, putting B0 there, taking B1, putting B1 here, and then we're raising the y variable to the power we raised it to. We're raising the x variable to the power we raised it to for the transformation. So hopefully all of that makes sense right there. All that good stuff. How are we doing right there? Everything good. I think that lots of good stuff today. We will be reviewing for the test here soon. Woo, test review. Get everything ready. I can't believe it. 201 has a test next week. Viewer. ggplot said no. ggplot said not happening. Let's head back. Well, that's got it. That's got question 2 done for today. I think most of it. A lot of good help right there. Remember, that is bonus. So with party, just heteroscedastic, or did we say outliers too? You probably got a heteroscedastic outliers and non-normality of residuals, but the linearity's been fixed, which is good. It's a better model. It's got its own sort of problems. All models are wrong. Some are useful. The model's not been... It's not A-okay, but it's better. And then really great advice from our friends saying, well, maybe it's overfit. Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, I'm being serious. Maybe it's overfit. We would need a holdout or do some internal external validation, like an R-squared validation or RMSE validation, using cross-validation, k-fold cross-validation. These are concepts we're covering in 474 with data mining. Lots of concepts, and it really just amazing to hear that they are a doctor, like an actual like doctor, and yeah, they use statistics. It's how you know things. It's how you back up your claims with data. That's all statistics is saying, show me the data. Bring data, show me this works. Explain this, like, show me the data behind this. That's stats. Can you back your claim with data? If you can, you're doing statistics. Probably an overgeneralization. Let's throw out some 20 points. William right there. It's 20 Point Tuesdays. Any last questions? I'm going to go eat some lunch. Go eat some lunch and get ready for the day. William, excellent work right there. We reset everyone's points and you're already doing amazing. I just want to be lied to by pharmacists. Yeah, well, no, that's it. Maybe they exaggerate their claims. Maybe they don't do a proper sample. Maybe they have a small sample size. Like you take a sample size of 8 and you get a R-squared of like 70%. Well, I mean, that might not even be statistically significant. Maybe they're doing p-hacking, so they're running multiple tests on their data sets, and you're like, well, you collected 50 variables, and then you found 2 were significant. Well, by random chance, you should find 2.5 are significant out of 50 variables. No, that's exactly it. And keep up the great work. That's awesome. My brother's calling. Hey, wait. Hey, Darren. I'm live on YouTube right now.
All right. Hello, YouTube world.
So, how important is statistics in medical industry?
Statistics is very important. We use it for process improvement all the time, and I've learned more and more about how statistics is actually applicable to the business world more than I ever knew.
Yeah, doing the professional BA. I tell you what, are you free in 3 minutes?
Doing that?
Are you free in 3 minutes?
Not really, no.
Are you free in 1 minute? I tell you what, stay on the phone, Darren. Don't leave. I'm going to end the stream here. So 1 second. Everybody, we will be back. I'll be reviewing later today. I'll see you soon here. Bye for now, everyone. Puppet Shark, say bye to them.